Live from Wish TV's 24-hour News 8, this is Breaking News.
Our breaking news is a wild morning on the streets of central Indiana. At least 3 different police chases. Look at your screen. You'll see live the end of one of them on the south side of Indianapolis. Police are still hunting for people who were in that crashed Hummer.
And this one from overnight from the east side. Drew Blair actually witnessed this. She's standing by with the details this morning, but want to get to the details on the police chases right now in their entirety.
Starting with the one that's more active, and when you just saw police looking for suspects after a chase that ended at a south side Indianapolis apartment complex. Kevin Rotterman first brought us those scenes of that crashed Hummer. He joins us now. What can you tell us about what happened so far and what's still going on right now?
Good morning. Yes, this all started from what appears to be a stolen Hummer, a Hummer that was reported stolen. It's one of those with a small truck bed on the back of it. It was involved in a police chase after 2 armed robberies were reported down in Seymour and Columbus. Indiana State Police tells me that the police chase started somewhere around Columbus. If you look closely at your screen right now, the rear tire appears shredded on the driver's side. I believe the driver's side front tire is shredded as well, which brought this vehicle to a stop here on Madison Avenue, north of County Line Road, just south of Stop 11, in front of the Berkeley Commons apartment complex. Officers from, I counted, at least 6 different departments were actively searching for 3 suspects, possibly armed, trying to track them down. Since the last time I spoke with you, most of the police presence has quieted down. Majority of the departments from outside of Indianapolis have left. With there's fewer lights on scene, as you can see on your picture right now, and I still see some Indiana State Police troopers and some Indianapolis Metropolitan Police officers. So it appears they're still looking for the suspects right now. But as of right now, I'm still waiting on information from Indiana State Police. It sounds like one of their public information officers is on their way here. Hopefully, I can get some more information. I can bring that to you right here on Daybreak.
Right, Kevin Rotterman, thanks. A situation that could change minute by minute. To more breaking news, another of our overnight chases. In this case, police say it started when somebody stole liquor from a grocery store.
And we have exclusive perspective here on Daybreak because our own Drew Blair actually witnessed it and followed it in on her way to work, which is amazing. She's live at police headquarters with what she saw. Drew, good morning.
And good morning. It's not what any of us expect, really, right? On our daily routine, I was just heading into work, an average driver, but always a journalist too. So I headed in the direction of the chase to gather what I could from a safe distance. And the suspect's vehicle, along with about a dozen squad cars, ended up following and passing my direction about 3 different times. Here's what it looked like from my driver's seat at one point. Police say a man driving a small blue car jumped into it after stealing alcohol from the new Meijer store on North Keystone Avenue. That's where the chase started. It lasted about 10 minutes. Police say it ended when the suspect stopped in a strip center parking lot on 38th Street near Arlington Avenue. Investigators say the man ran out of his car, but a canine officer caught him. IMPD Captain Michael Elder and I talked about suspects making that decision to run when it only leads to more danger and trouble.
Is it worth it? I mean, chances are you're going to get caught. You're going to have to go through the system. Pay for an attorney or at least lose time. You may have to go to, jail. We're hurting businesses that are out trying to make a living, and stealing from them, taking money from them that, maybe they can't hire that extra employee that they wanted to hire, and the ripple effect happens. And, when people run in their cars, it's putting people that are out just driving, little kids, grandma, everybody driving in their cars in danger.
IMPD tells me the suspect is in his mid to upper 20s. He was already on house arrest and was not supposed to be out and about. Police say he's arrested to face charges for that and the alleged theft from Meijer. Now, Scott and Lauren, I was really struck by one element of this chase as I was witnessing that, and it's the procedures police use to keep drivers like myself and others safe and clear of the route. As unpredictable as that can be, they really have a way of trying to get ahead of it and anticipating where they're going to be needed. So I spoke with Elder about that topic too, and I'll bring you his words coming up at 6 o'clock on Daybreak.
Well, they've certainly had enough practice overnight at it, Drew, because as you know, just before that chase, there was still a different chase. It also lasted several miles on city streets and interstates. Police say they spotted a stolen truck near Keystone Avenue and Raymond.
That's right. Police say the driver took off, getting onto I-65 and 465. They say he finally exited off 71st Street and headed south on Michigan Road. That's where police forced the truck to spin out. They say it took out a power line, stopped at a gas station. They say the driver tried to get out and run away, but a police dog actually stopped him.
Driver ended up in the hospital for animal bites. So again, 3 different police chases overnight, all of them fairly significant in how they started, how long they lasted, and in the case of the one that's still happening right now, how they ended. Welcome to you. 5 minutes into the hour now, 73 degrees outside. We appreciate you beginning your Thursday with Daybreak.
It doesn't quite feel like Thursday, but you know, we are working our way through the work week. So we're going to bring you the rest of our Daybreak team because we're all local all morning. We have been working through the overnight hours to cover a lot of stuff for you. So Brittany Lewis is looking at how plans to potentially close some IPS high schools could lead to different start times for students.
Joe Malillo joins us with a special garden used to help students with autism. First, though, let's bring in Stephanie Mead to look at both the weather and the traffic. Good morning.
Good morning. We're not really contending with any weather this morning. It's a very warm start to the day. Unfortunately, I can't say the same as we head into later this afternoon and into tonight. Scattered light showers down towards our southern communities for this morning. So just north of Bloomington, they're picking up on some lighter showers right now. But we are looking at some potential of some heavier thunderstorms actually moving towards the north and east and parts of central Illinois picking up on that right now. And they'll be in our area probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So some locations for the morning commute could see maybe a little bit of rain. That's mostly focused towards our southern counties for this morning. Waking up to temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s. So very warm morning, still a bit breezy. Winds out of the south anywhere between 15 miles an hour throughout the day today. We will see chance of showers and thunderstorms increase. Wind conditions will also be a factor as well. Not quite as blustery as yesterday, but still seeing wind conditions anywhere between 15 to 20 miles an hour. And right now, quite breezy here across Indianapolis. Sustained winds at around 14 miles an hour. Wind gusts right now at 29 miles an hour. Off towards Lafayette at 32 miles an hour. Temperatures across the area in the middle to lower 70s. Warm spots this morning up towards Muncie at 76, as well as Richmond at 76. Shelbyville checking in at 76 as well. Middle to lower 70s down towards our southern counties. So again, as I mentioned before, increasing chance of showers and thunderstorms by around our noon hour and then on. And high temperatures today still returning back into the middle to lower 80s, but the potential of seeing some stronger storms as well as maybe even a severe storm later this afternoon is not out of the question. Our main threats with that, though, we're looking at are hail and wind. So in a few minutes, I'll give you timing of the storms that we'll see for today as well as heading into tomorrow, because we do have an unsettled Friday ahead of us. We also have much cooler temperatures by the end of the weekend and into early next week. So I'll give you details, timing, and all of that coming up in your full forecast in just a few minutes. But as you're heading out on the roads this morning, we do have a new incident that just popped up on the south side that we'll get to in our next traffic hit. Otherwise, we're looking pretty quiet as we're heading out the door this morning. Michigan Road, a main artery getting into Indianapolis and out of Indianapolis for this morning, not showing too much in the way of issues as you're heading in and out for your morning commute. Zionsville Road, I-65, and also checking in on Michigan Road for this morning. We are looking at pretty quick drive times as I-65 from Zionsville, Whitestown to Indy checking in at just over 15 minutes. Zionsville Road from Main Street to 62nd Street at around 11 minutes, and then Michigan Road from Zionsville to I-65 checking in at just under 20 minutes for this morning.
Stephanie, thank you. 5:08 right now. Police in Indianapolis say a woman's death is suspicious. They tell us Citizens Gas workers found a body last night inside a home on North Harding Street near 25th Street. They were called there to investigate a possible gas leak. The police have not yet said how long they believe the body had been in the home or told us any details about how the woman might have died. The coroner's office has also not released the victim's name, so we've got a lot of questions still out there. We'll continue to get more information on the story and update you as soon as we learn more.
9 minutes after 5 o'clock to still more breaking news this morning. One of the truly distinctive voices in modern music is silent. The news crossed just about an hour and a half ago. Chris Cornell is dead. He was the longtime lead singer for Soundgarden, one of the more successful bands to get their start in the grunge era. He also had hits with Audioslave and as a solo singer. Soundgarden just played White River State Park last week. We are working to find out more about how he died. We know what happened in Detroit, and a representative of the family has already released a statement saying that this was sudden and unexpected. departed. Chris Cornell was 52 years old. 9 minutes after 5. Today, parents of IPS students will get another chance to talk about plans to close 3 high schools. We've been reporting on these meetings and the task force that recommended the district close 3 schools to make better use of its space and to save money. The meeting tonight is at the Family Center at Garfield Park starting at 6 in the evening. The school says the administration will likely make a final full decision on whether to close schools and which schools to close in June. We've been watching those meetings closely, and it sounds like board members have been listening because it may lead to another change for high schools.
So the district confirms to 24 Hour News 8 they will consider changing high school start times. And this is after that issue came up repeatedly during the first 4 meetings. Brittany Lewis is actually live this morning with more on the possibility of high school students getting a later start time within the district.
Yeah, good morning, Lauren. So IPS says this is something they have actually been talking about for some time, giving high school students a later start time. So by getting this feedback from parents at these meetings, it kind of confirms to them that they are moving in the right direction. Some schools will be getting a new start time starting next year, but those plans have already been in place. You may remember back in January, the school board approved a 3-tier system for next school year to save money by reducing the number of buses needed at one time. Some schools will be starting a little later, others earlier, with the majority of high schools starting at 7:20. Any later start times would not go into effect until the 2018-2019 school year because the district first needs to figure out what high schools will be closing. At this point, no one has proposed a specific start time. Parents are just saying they think school should start later. School board president Marianne Sullivan says Superintendent Dr. Lewis Farabee will likely be asking for community input before recommending a new start time.
And of course, when you change one schedule, that means you have to change the others. And so when you make some folks happy, other folks might not be so happy. So I'm sure we'll be getting additional input in terms of what our families would like to see for our schools.
Part of this also comes down to how much sleep teenagers get and how that impacts their brains and their ability to learn. So the school board president says the superintendent will likely also be looking at different research before determining a new start time. Scott and Lauren.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is a conversation happening in a lot of other districts, not just IPS, but we'll have to continue to watch it. Thanks so much, Brittany. 12 minutes after the hour right now.
Stephanie Mead watching a weather alert morning. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, we are looking at the marginal threat of seeing some stronger to severe storms later this afternoon, and I'll give you details and timing on what exactly we'll see with those storms and when they'll arrive in my full forecast.
It is 5:14. I want to get you an update on the breaking news. We're following one of the 3 police chases that unfolded overnight and into the early morning hours. This one on the south side of Indianapolis, a neighborhood just north of Greenwood Park Mall, so just north of the county line. Police are looking for 3 people. They say they are armed robbery suspects. This is a chase that started in Greenwood and then ended there abruptly with that Hummer crashed, and at least 3 people, according to police, on the run. We'll stay on top of that, let you know more as we learn more. Our mobile news tracker right there. Special counsel is now in place in the FBI investigation into claims of Russian interference in the presidential election.
Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appointed Robert Mueller to lead the investigation. Mueller's a former Marine and a Department of Justice official. He worked for the FBI for 12 years until 2013. Rosenstein sent a statement saying, quote, special counsel's necessary in order for the American people to have full confidence in the outcome. In a statement yesterday, President Trump wrote that a thorough investigation will confirm what we already know. There was no collusion between my campaign and any foreign entity.
It is 5:16 and 73 degrees in Indianapolis. New on Daybreak, an Eastside church working to make a difference with its Peace Garden in an area that's known as a food desert.
I've told you about them before, but now they're getting some help from special volunteers. 24-hour News 8's Joe Malillo has the story for us. Good morning.
A lot of little special volunteers, too. The St. Albans Episcopal Church uses its Peace Garden to feed the hungry in their part of the city, and leaders say they are in the middle of a food desert and the pantries need as much fresh produce as they can get. There are crosses stuck in the ground throughout the garden, as you can see, to represent every homicide in the city of Indianapolis. And now underneath St. Albans Church is a school. It's dedicated to children with special needs. The Worthmore Academy, that's the name of it. This school focuses on students with special needs and kids with autism, diagnosed with dyslexia, ADD, ADHD, or having communication disorder. Tate Nilsson, the garden manager, says there's more than just plants growing in this garden.
This is a big deal to me, and the kids are another big piece of this, because if we can start kids learning this stuff and serving their community young like this, it'll just pay off into the future.
The garden and its volunteers are able to grow thousands of pounds of produce. Last year, they donated to 5 different food pantries on the east side. I mean, I think halfway through, they had somewhere upwards of 2,000 pounds of food that they donated. And the kids aren't done yet. Leaders say they'll continue to help through the school year, which, of course, is maybe less than a week or so, so they don't have all that much time.
That's the timing works out well. That's all right, though. A lot of great faces in there, and they weren't playing at it either. They were clearly working hard.
There's one kid you'll meet next hour, and he's really funny. His name's Wesley, and he told me he likes gardening, so you'll hear more.
Good.
But that's a life skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he
that's
said
one
he
of
wants
those
to
things.
help his mom.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like him already. And we get to actually sort of meet him and hear his story next hour on Daybreak. 5:18 right now, 73 degrees outside.
So for anybody who's actually put something in the ground like me, that's what I did yesterday, when are we going to get some rain to kind of water on those plants?
Well, the good news is we are seeing our chance of rain come earlier this morning for our southern communities, up towards the north, maybe later this afternoon, and it won't be a nice soaking rain that we saw the past 2 weeks. We'll see thunderstorms throughout the day today, and it'll be little by little for each day. So that's good news for gardeners who might decided to have planted at around Mother's Day. So waking up this morning, warmer temperatures in the middle 70s right now across much of the air. So a very, very warm start to this morning. Temperatures in Indianapolis at 73 degrees right now. Muncie at 76, Richmond at 76 as well. And we're 75 down towards Bloomington for this morning. Widespread warmth for today. Waking up this morning, we are around 2 degrees warmer here in Indianapolis, 8 down towards Bloomington. So no need for the jacket this morning, but some locations might need the rain gear for this morning. For this afternoon, you might want to just throw it in the back of your car because some locations could be waking up, or could be driving home rather, in some scattered showers or thunderstorms. Wind conditions right now are primarily out of the south and west at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wind gusts for this morning at around 20 to 25 up to 30 miles an hour for some locations. So still seeing those blustery wind conditions across much of the area. Very light showers. Now seeing some heavier showers developing down towards the Bedford area. As we widen out the view right now, we are looking at those showers and thunderstorms developing down towards central Illinois, shifting up towards the north, or southern Illinois, shifting up towards the north and east, headed towards central Indiana. So precipitation over the next couple of days. We see those scattered showers throughout this afternoon and for this evening, remaining scattered for tomorrow. for this weekend. Not a complete washout, but we will see some periods of some rain and thunderstorms throughout this weekend and into the second half of next week. So for today, we have the marginal risk of seeing some stronger to potentially severe thunderstorms. Areas north and east of Kokomo and Muncie are under the slight risk of seeing some stronger to severe thunderstorms as well. The main threats we're looking at for this afternoon are primarily gusty winds and some hail, flooding and tornadoes on the very low end of our threats for today. So by this morning, 7:30, we're looking at some heavier showers just to the south and east of Shelbyville. Columbus picking up on those showers as well. They'll shift off to the east rather quickly. And then throughout the afternoon, we have a lot of dry time. Maybe some scattered showers just south of Bedford this afternoon. And then by later this afternoon, by around 2, 3, 4 o'clock, we start to see those showers and thunderstorms develop. And again, very scattered throughout this afternoon. So the next 12 hours, we are looking at some dry periods through around 10, 11 o'clock. Temperatures will rise into the middle to upper 70s, lower 80s. It's not until later this afternoon where we have that potential, at least increased potential of seeing those showers and thunderstorms. Highs today hitting the lower 80s, so another warm one. 82 for Indianapolis. We have 82 down towards Columbus as well. 85 for Kokomo this afternoon. Wind conditions not quite as blustery as what we saw yesterday, but we'll see sustained winds out of the south and west at 10 to 15 up to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, keeping the chance of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, although mostly scattered. Temperatures are going to fall into the middle to lower 70s and upper 60s. And here's that chance of those scatters and showers and thunderstorms at around midnight, starting to see that dissipate as we head into the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. But we're not out of the clear as we end off the work week. Marginal risk of seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms for tomorrow, mostly during the afternoon. And you see here it's starting to develop as it's off to the west. By around 3, 4 o'clock, we'll see those showers and thunderstorms move through the metro area, shifting off towards the east. After that, by around 7 o'clock, we should clear out, maybe a light scattered shower at best, but it does look like we're remaining mostly dry and a little bit cooler with highs only in the middle 70s for Friday. When it's all said and done, we're looking at rain totals anywhere between around 1 inch to upwards of around 1.5 inches for some locations, but that's spread out over a 5-day period. So it doesn't look like we'll see too much in the way of flooding. 78 by Saturday, Sunday 72 with scattered showers and storms for both days, but not a washout for this weekend. We're going to see an unsettled pattern settle in here over the next 4 days. Good news is on Monday we do clear out and dry out for a day, and then scattered showers and storms return Tuesday into Wednesday. Thursday we dry out with highs below normal next week, only hitting the lower 70s and upper 60s. But as you're heading the roads this morning, clear and dry. Nothing really contending with this morning. We'll head off towards the south side. We do have a downed power line near Shelby Street and Sumner Avenue. So that could be causing an issue because of cleanup. So if that's a usual road heading into Indy this morning, kind of keep that in mind. Quite gusty throughout the overnight hours and into this morning. So State Road 37 commute time, also US 31, and we're looking at I-65 heading in from the south side this morning. Our drive time still looking relatively light. I-65 from Greenwood to the south split the average drive time at around 11 minutes with the average speed at around 61 miles an hour. So moving along pretty quick. 31 from Greenwood to I-465 at 9 minutes and 37 from Martinsville to I-465 at just under 25 minutes for your morning commute.
As the drug epidemic reaches crisis levels in Indiana, the governor will unveil a new plan to fight the issue today. Ahead on Daybreak, more on what has led up to the creation of this strategy and what we expect today.
Hey there, good morning. 5:26 is the time right now. Storm Track 8 team says it could be a bit tricky weather-wise for drivers hoping to practice today for the 500.
Some of the biggest names just skipped practice Wednesday because of the wind. 30-mile-an-hour wind that hit the track right when practice was scheduled to start. Team Penske opted to keep its cars in the garage altogether. Other drivers decided to run, but took it relatively easy. So, for instance, the top speed yesterday was just a tick over 222. That's 2 miles an hour slower than the fast speed of Monday. Stay with 24-hour News 8 on race day. We will bring you live coverage, everything you need to know ahead of the 500. Also happening today, we should find out who is on the All-NBA team. That is important because it could have a huge impact on the Pacers. If Paul George makes All-NBA, it makes him eligible for a huge contract that only the Pacers would be allowed to offer him. Other teams could only offer him a shorter deal and less money. The goal of the rule is to encourage superstars to stay with their current teams, and as we've reported often, George is set to be a free agent after next season.
So we're actually going to find out tonight. It's going to be announced just before the game airs. Game 1, Cleveland and Celtics, so a Cavs-Celtics game. So on TNT tonight, we'll find out.
To be clear, they'd have to cut him an enormous check to make this whole thing work, but it would be a way to almost guarantee that he'd stay.
To the tune of $210 million.
Yeah, 527 right now, 73 degrees.
Still ahead this morning on Daybreak, former FBI director could be speaking to lawmakers soon, talking about James Comey. The latest on an invitation to Comey to testify publicly.
Also, a man in Indiana is facing felony charges. He is accused of getting a 10-year-old girl pregnant.
Good morning. It is Thursday, May 18th. We're getting you ready for Daybreak here and the day ahead.
And coming up this half hour, we're staying on several breaking news stories. It was a frankly wild night on the streets of Indianapolis. Also, Nina Criscolo is previewing a big announcement today about the city. Governor Eric Holcomb has set the detailed plans for a war on drugs.
Stephanie Bean's watching any traffic trouble for you, as she always does, but want to start with Randy Ollis. We've been throwing around the term weather alert here this morning. Randy, tell us why.
Yeah, I tell you what here, guys. Well, here's a reason why. Let's show you a live picture for our viewers down in Bloomington right now, and check it out. Yep, the roads are wet down there at IU. You can see the streets here wet, the little shine out there, and we'll prove it to you. We'll go to Viper Radar. We'll head down that way. Just some spotty showers, maybe some thunder showers. Nothing in Marion County right now, but we head down to the south, and there's Bloomington. You can see also around the Columbus area, Bloomington, some showers, maybe a little thunder, a little lightning. Nothing severe. That is north of the Bedford area, and that is tracking towards the east-northeast towards Nashville, and maybe up here across Johnson County eventually. And we pulled out, you can see a little broken band of thunderstorms into parts of southern Illinois into southeastern Missouri. So that's going to be the pattern today, these hit-and-miss showers and some thunderstorms. Outside right now at the airport, partly cloudy, 73 warm degrees. Breezy again, a southwest wind at 14 miles an hour. 73 here, 76 Muncie, 76 Richmond, and 75 Bloomington with rain in the area. Forecast for the bus stop, we'll keep it dry here in the city, 69 degrees and an isolated thunderstorm. Kids come back home, temperature at 82. Also, there is a marginal risk of severe weather in central Indiana, a slight risk up north. We'll tell you more about this here. We'll kind of time out the storms. We'll check out the weekend, too. All this here stuff in just a little bit.
Well, the good news is some locations not contending with rain this morning. Other than that, we're waking up to dry conditions. On traffic watch this morning, still relatively quiet. Heading into around 5:30 for this morning. We're going to return back down to the south side where we did have that down power line. Still doesn't look like it's causing too much of an issue, and that's right near Shelby Street and Sumner Avenue again. No issues with that, is hoping that they're getting that cleaned up as soon as possible. We're going to head off towards the east side for this morning. So folks who usually use I-70 to get to I-465 to the north split this morning, the average speed checking in at around 59 miles an hour for a very quick drive time at around 7 minutes. East side drive times this morning, Pendleton Pike from McCourtsville to I-465, the average speed at around 38 miles an hour, making for a quick drive time at around 12 minutes. I-70 from Greenfield to the north split, checking in again at around 19 minutes, and then 40 from Greenfield to I-465, checking in at 20 minutes.
And Stephanie, as you know, it was frankly a dangerous night in the streets of Indianapolis. At least 3 different police chases. We do have coverage of all of them this morning. Want to get to the one that ended most recently and has still been bringing us breaking news and new developments every few minutes. Kevin Rotterman is at that scene, south side of Indianapolis, a neighborhood just north of Greenwood Park, Mall Madison Avenue and Stop 12. Kevin, you're going to get new information from state troopers, what, right now?
That's right, Scott. I'm actually on scene here with Indiana State Police Sergeant John Perrine. Sir, could you explain what all led up to this scene?
Yeah, early this morning, right around midnight, there was a carjacking in Claremont. No injuries, but that was a strong-arm carjacking there. That vehicle was then used in 2 alleged armed robberies in southern Indiana, one in Seymour and one in Columbus, both of gas stations. After those robberies occurred, a state trooper from the Versailles post saw the suspect vehicle getting onto I-65 at the 68-mile marker, and that's exactly where the chase began. The chase led all the way up here to Madison Avenue, where the vehicle stopped here behind me, and you can see 3 suspects fled from the vehicle. We're looking for 1 white male wearing a black hoodie and 2 black males, both described as tall and skinny. Still an active search right now. We've got a helicopter in the air. We've got a lot of police activity. If you're heading this way, just be aware. If you see these 3 suspects somewhere, please call 911. Don't try to approach them. We are expecting them to be armed and dangerous at this point.
Are there any reports of injuries at all?
Fortunately, at this point, we do not have reports of any injuries in this crime spree.
Now, this covers many miles, starting on the west side of Indianapolis, going all the way down to Seymour. Is this fairly uncommon?
You know, I don't know. It's a crime, and right now we're very much trying to locate these 3 individuals who have now proven they're not capable of living in a free society. And so what's important is getting these 3 people off the street.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. You just heard it from Indiana State Police. They're still actively looking for these suspects here on Indianapolis South Side. I'll stay on scene and gather as much information as I can.
Kevin Rotterman reporting live for us out there with our mobile news tracker. Thanks so much for the update there. You know, as Scott was mentioning just a moment ago, we have covered 3 chases during the overnight hours. That was the most recent. Here's another one that we've been following. This was on the east side. It lasted about 15 minutes this morning, ended up in a parking lot near 38th and Arlington. The suspect got out of the car, tried to run away, but a police dog tracked him down. Metro Police tell us it started with a shoplifting complaint at a Meijer store. So our Drew Blair actually witnessed the chase as it happened. You saw cell phone video earlier. That was her cell phone video as she was driving into work. So she's going to join us live here on Daybreak coming up in the next half hour.
And just before that chase, there was still a different chase. This one also lasted several miles on city streets and interstates. Police say they spotted a stolen truck near Keystone and Raymond. Police say the driver took off, got onto I-65, then 465, all the way around to the northwest side, getting off on 71st and heading to Michigan Road. That's where police say they forced the truck to spin out. They say it took out a power line and stopped at a gas station. And they say the driver tried to get out and run away, but a police dog stopped him. The driver went to the hospital for bites. We'll stay on all these stories and bring you more as we learn about them. 5:36 also happening today. We expect the governor, Eric Holcomb, to unveil his plan of attack for the drug epidemic in Indiana.
Lawmakers, as you'll remember, gave him millions of dollars to develop a strategy. So 24-hour News 8's Nina Criscolo is here this morning, kind of explaining what we can expect and then reaction from those on the front lines. Good morning.
Good morning. Fighting the drug epidemic is part of Governor Eric Holcomb's 5-pillar plan. In recent years, we've seen countless overdose deaths and an HIV outbreak in our state, and those trying to combat the problem say it is at a crisis level. That's why many feel a strong new strategy from the governor cannot come soon enough. Today, Jim McClelland, the executive director of Drug Treatment Prevention and Enforcement, and 17 members of the Commission to Combat Drug Abuse will unveil the plan. The drug epidemic was a focal point during the 2017 legislative session as well. Lawmakers expanded needle exchanges and provided more funding for things like Narcan and drug treatment programs. Those are tools Fairbanks Treatment Center workers say is desperately needed, but even more needs to be done.
It can't be swept under the table. We have to treat this as the fatal disease that it is, just like we would a cancer.
It is so important that as a community we come together because it is becoming bigger than we can handle by ourselves.
The meeting today will happen downtown at 10 o'clock this morning. We will have a crew there in full coverage tonight on 24-hour News 8 at 5 and 6. But you can watch the meeting live on wishtv.com. Again, that starts at 10 a.m. And coming up in our next hour of Daybreak, see what those at the Fairbanks Treatment Center want to see be made a priority in Governor Holcomb's drug epidemic strategy.
All right, we appreciate it, Nina, and still obviously much more to look forward to on this. You can count for coverage on air, online, and on the go. 5:38 right now.
Still ahead on Daybreak, lawmakers are demanding answers as to why President Trump fired former FBI Director James Comey. New developments just ahead. Hey there, welcome back. It's 5:41 right now to our top national story this morning, the continued uproar in Washington over the firing of FBI Director James Comey. Lawmakers are actively trying to get to the bottom of it.
Mark Meredith with our Washington, D.C. bureau has more on the lawmakers demanding answers.
Virginia Senator Mark Warner is the latest lawmaker demanding to know more about former FBI Director James Comey's conversations with President Trump.
Let's hear the testimony from former Director Comey. He deserves to tell his story to the American people.
Warner is reacting to Tuesday's New York Times report that says documents detail President Trump's request to the FBI director to drop the investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Flynn is accused of misleading White House officials about his own discussions with Russian diplomats.
We're going to have to take this sequentially. Let's see if the memos exist. Let's see if they are accurate.
It's not just Democrats demanding answers. Republican Congressman Jason Chaffetz of Utah sent Comey this 6-page letter demanding the same exact documents. Chaffetz is giving Comey 1 week to respond. Meanwhile, House Speaker Paul Ryan says he wants all Americans to wait before rushing to judgment.
There are a lot of unanswered questions. What I told our members is, now is the time to gather all the pertinent information.
The House Government Reform and Oversight Committee is inviting Comey to testify a week from today. Comey turned down a previous request by the Senate to testify shortly after he was fired. Reporting in Washington, I'm Mark Meredith.
5:42 right now, 73 degrees to start out with this morning.
Yeah, it looks pleasant to start, but it's a weather alert morning, Randy Alice.
Yeah, and I tell you what here, guys, check out Viper Radar right now. We are tracking a few showers, even a couple of thunderstorms right now. We head down or south. That's a little thunderstorm here east of Bloomington, approaching the Nashville area, down across Brown County here. Thunder lighting some brief heavy rain. There's more to come. I'll tell you about it here in my forecast.
Hey there, welcome back. It's 5:45 right now. We're following breaking news. Quite frankly, there have been many police chases overnight, 3 to be exact. Just moments ago, Sergeant John Perrine with Indiana State Police joined us live talking about the 3 suspects that they're still looking for. Here's the tweet he just sent out, because this is the first look at the suspects we're getting, saying suspects in the Indianapolis carjacking and 2 armed robberies in Seymour and Columbus. If you see or you recognize these people, call 911. One of the things Sergeant Perrine said during his live interview interview here on Daybreak was that the 3 people are described as tall and skinny. And so they basically are on the run right now. If you know them or you see them, call police. 5:46 right now. A Grant County man is facing charges after police say he got a 10-year-old girl pregnant.
The man's name is Nicholas Dion Thrash. He's from Marion. He now faces 10 counts of child molesting. Prosecutors say that Thrash was living with the child's mother. They say he molested the girl several times. The child's mother also faces felony charges for neglect. Thrash is at the Grant County Jail. So far, there is no court date set.
5:46 right now, 73 degrees this morning. Taking a live look outside downtown Indianapolis, just a piece of the skyline here as we wake up on this Thursday morning. Very mild start and still a warm day in store today.
Yeah, yesterday was almost picture perfect, but for the wind, and it was strong wind. Today's a little bit more significant in what we're waiting and watching for, Randy.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be another breezy day out there today. It's not going to be as windy, I don't think, as yesterday. We had wind gusts, 40, 45 miles an hour. Messed up my hair. I was walking out the Ford here, and got a little.
You had to put up in a side ponytail, maybe.
So.
I bet it was cute.
Well, that's a great picture there. Anyway, hey, let's show you this. The big story today is going to be the rain coming on down, and we'll prove it to you. Live picture, Bloomington down there at IU, and see the white roads down there. There's some a little car vehicle kind of heading through the university, so some showers and thunder showers. Here's Storm Track A, Storm Track her radar. Head down to south. They're moving quickly through Bloomington into beautiful Brown County around Nashville right now. Some thunder, some lightning, some brief heavy downpours of rain. That goes down around Bedford and Lawrence County, all heading towards the east-northeast. I think for the most part, these cells will probably stay south of Marion County, at least for right now, and they go back out here across parts of southern Illinois. So grab the umbrella today, but along with it, there's going to be a lot of dry weather too. 9 o'clock this morning, Futurecast here shows most of the rain heading to southeast Indiana into parts of southwest Ohio. We head through the day, and even though we're not showing a whole lot, I got to keep in there some isolated showers, some isolated thunderstorms, especially mid to late afternoon and into the evening hours. Now, there is a marginal risk of severe weather here. Up north, a slight risk of severe thunderstorms. Couple of the thunderstorms here later this afternoon and early tonight may contain some gusty winds and some hail. So, again, they should be pretty few and far between. Outside right now here in the city, it is warm out there, 73, kind of breezy southwest wind at 14 miles an hour. Over Ramadi in the 70s, 74 back out around Terre Haute, Lafayette 72, 76 up around Muncie, 76 degrees in Shelbyville. So head through the day today, 9 o'clock 73, noontime 78, 4 o'clock 82. And again, just those isolated showers and thunderstorms around. I don't think I'd cancel plans if you are heading out and about. Highs here today, low to mid 80s, 85 Kokomo, 82 Indy, and 83 in Shelbyville. Same thing tonight, isolated scattered thunderstorms, 6 p.m. 81, 10 o'clock 74. The midnight temperature right around 72 degrees. During the day on Friday, probably a little better chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms here, especially tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. And again, tomorrow we do have a marginal risk out for some severe weather with a slight risk back out across parts of southern Illinois. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be cooler. We have a front coming on down. Only the upper 60s north, mid 70s here, near 80 down around Bedford, also into the Columbus area. So the front comes down from the north tomorrow, and then it goes back north. There's a warm front during the day on Saturday. I think the best chance is the rain coming in, unfortunately, that will be during the day on Saturday, probably Saturday night into at least Sunday morning. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, maybe a little bit more widespread than that. So if you are heading out to the track, whatever this weekend, I would grab the umbrella. And by Sunday evening here, a good 1.5 to 2 inches of rain possible in most areas. So hopefully not going to cause any additional flooding out there. The weekend numbers here, 78 Saturday, then 72 degrees during the day on Sunday. Those scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Going to clear it out on Monday, dry day, and then a really cool pattern coming in next week here. Boy, highs only in the 60s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and again, it'll be those scattered showers and scattered thunderstorms around, so a very, very active pattern. Stephanie?
Well, waking up this morning, no rain here across the metro area in Indianapolis, so that's good news. We're not dealing with any of the wet roads. They did have that down power line cleaned up off the south side, so we're going to head off towards the west side for this morning. Staying on the quieter side off of Rockville Road, which usually is kind of our congested spot as we head into the morning hours, staying relatively quiet. So as we widen out the view, again, staying all green and all clear as we head into your 6 o'clock hour. So drive times from I-74, Rockville Road, and also Washington Street for this this morning should be relatively quick, and they are this morning. I-74 from Brownsburg to I-465, average speed at around 72 miles an hour. So that makes for a quick drive time of around 6 minutes. 36 from Avon to I-465, average speed at just under 45 miles an hour at just under 10 minutes for this morning. And we're looking at 40 from Plainfield to I-465, average speed at just under 35 miles an hour, with the average drive time at just under 15 minutes.
5:51 right now ahead on Daybreak. The latest on a large apartment fire in Greenwood. It kept more than 20 families out of their homes.
And I'm Drew Blair. Following one of several police chases in and around Indianapolis overnight, I have exclusive perspective on it because I witnessed it. Hear more coming up at 6 o'clock.
It is 5:54 right now. I want to bring you the latest on the breaking news we were following. There have been 3 police chases overnight, all of them significant in length. This is the one that is still unfolding as we speak. The chase is over. That's a Hummer that crashed in the south side of Indianapolis, a neighborhood near Madison Avenue and Stop 12. But we've learned just within the last hour that that was a stolen vehicle that apparently, according to state police, 3 people took and then went down to southern Indiana, pulled 2 armed robberies, and then got involved in a chase with police back up closer to central Indiana. The tweet from Sergeant John Perrine, who was speaking with us on Daybreak just moments before he tweeted this out. These pictures they'd like you to look at. Suspects in the Indianapolis carjacking and 2 armed robberies in Seymour and Columbus. If you see or recognize them, call 911. End tweet, but certainly not end story. We will stay on this through the next hour of Daybreak and more as it unfolds. At 5:54, more headlines. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused a fire in Greenwood. It forced 24 families out of their apartments. Happened yesterday afternoon at the Emerald Lakes Apartments just south of Main Street on Chic Road. We were there as firefighters tried to put the hot spots out at the complex. The American Red Cross worked with the people to try to find them a temporary place to stay. Management of the complex have not yet commented on the fire. We did speak with a man who rushed in to try to help people who were just outside the building.
Everybody seems pretty calm. I was intentional. I just, wanted to care for the people and pray for them. So.
All families and pets are out and okay. We are told it's not clear just how much damage that fire may have caused. 5:55 happening today. Bedford is hosting a ribbon cutting for a newly restored Town Depot. The facility is at the corner of 14th and J Streets. It used to be known as the Southern Indiana Railroad Station. Now it'll be used as a community center and tourism center for Bedford. The doors open at 10 o'clock this morning. The ribbon cutting is at 11. Tour of the facility will be available right after that ceremony if you'd like to take a closer look. An iconic Indianapolis bar will close. The Elbow Room opened back in 1933. No word exactly when it'll shut down, but we've gotten confirmation from management that it will. It's on Pennsylvania Street near North. It's just across from the American Legion Mall. Bar opened just after Prohibition was repealed. Had many successful years after that. More local news. Indiana Blood Center says it urgently needs type O blood. A local hospital used 30 units of it just yesterday morning, and that wiped out the center's supply. Donors are needed today through the weekend. If you'd like to donate, you can set up an appointment, call the number on your screen, or visit one of the 6 blood center locations. It is 5:56 right now. Ahead on Daybreak, what we've learned so far about a body found inside a home on the northwest side of Indianapolis.
And could IPS high school students be getting a later start time? It's something the district tells us they're considering. I'll have details coming up. Remember, Daybreak is all local all morning.